Thaddeus Cray Productions presents Grey Wolf, a Werewolf Hunter tale. This story revolves around the origins of Charles BlackFeather, the man who trained Alex in the ways of the werewolf. Follow with me, dear listener, the path of Charles' father to saving his people from the threat of the dogmen and to his final redemption, the sacrifice which would bring young Charles to the ways of the lycanthrope and his path in life itself. Many of you know the story of Alex, the only known living werewolf to have been infected during childhood and survived. I will now tell you of the one who taught him the way of the wolf. The old man was born during the turn of the 20th century. He was born Charles Legrand Sanchez in the tribe of the Sioux. His mother Elise was concerned for his well-being. He had been born under the glow of the full moon. The boy lived a very troubled life with an alcoholic father who loved him dearly despite the abuse he heaped upon him and his mother. He thought to strengthen and make Charlie a man. He succeeded in doing so, but also cemented a deep hatred within the man as he grew up. Dear old Dad was named Emmanuel Sanchez, but he at times was called Red Thunder in the Sioux language. It was not a compliment due to his temper. However, despite this, the elders of the tribe respected him, despite his violent anger for reasons hidden from his family. The reservation had many strange denizens that would dwell amongst the people and within their woods. One, of course, was a Sasquatch. And while there were situations of conflict, this was rare, as long as their families and territory were let be. And so were the people of the Sioux. The standing wolves were another matter. They traveled the waterways and were not above picking off a straggler, or even a child, when prey became scarce. The Bigfoot outnumbered them, and when they would also travel through the res, they would drive off the dogmen. This balance created an agreement between the Squatches and the Sioux of the reservation that would pay a small tribute to the massive beings in the way of food and different edibles. This was not a habituation, but a true, almost spiritual understanding. Many years passed, and the upright wolves would always be driven out or killed by the combined effort of man and Bigfoot. Unfortunately, disaster struck, and a vicious plague came through, killing many men, and also Sasquatch, as they themselves are primates. They were forced to leave the territories as they needed to preserve their children and their dwindling numbers. It was found later that an insane shaman drunk on a desire for power had called forth the plague, seeking to draw in the dogman and drive the Sasquatch out. He succeeded, all right, but whatever evil forces told him he could control the dogmen and make them his slaves lied. He was found by angry members of the tribe, already dead, torn apart by the dog-headed ones. The attacks began in earnest. It was during this time, in the 1930s, that drastic measures were taken. War parties were gathered to end the pack of dogmen's reign of terror. Cattle, hogs, children, the elderly were all taken and devoured. At times, heads would be placed on stones, and even sticks, as a way of saying, "You are our prey, and we are to stay." Despair is all you have to look forward to. Soldiers, contracts, and mercenaries could not end the Alpha and his pack's reign of terror. It was then that Emmanuel was forced to make his move. He had been tolerated by the people of the res for one reason: This reason was a secret he possessed for many years. He knew it was time to fulfill his obligation to the elders of the tribe, a man who was part of the pack, controlled by the Council of 10, had nearly been killed in a vicious brawl years ago. A man saved this fellow. The man who saved the one almost slain was Emmanuel. The man, whom was named Gaiden, would reveal that his own father and himself had been given the power of the wolf. This power is, of course, werewolfism, or lycanthropy. The father's time was soon to come. He was old, over a century. The son repaid Emmanuel's kindness and bravery, despite his awful temper. He infected Emmanuel and taught him how to control the beast, including the marking of the palm with the 5-star, a focal point to control his rage. This also gave him free rein to abuse his awful temper upon the tribe. And the elders ignored this, even after Gaiden grew disgusted and left. Now, the debt was being called, and Emmanuel had to stop the hideous canid menace that was killing his people. He looked to his son and told him that night to stay inside and not come out of their dwelling under any circumstances. To keep his mother safe, he tearfully told Charles that he loved them both dearly and that he was sorry. Under the cover of the full moon, he took on the other form, the other skin, the skin of the werewolf. The alpha of the dog-headed ones answered his challenge, as did his pack. The men of the tribe did not interfere, for they knew they would stand no chance. Emmanuel would face down the alpha, a massively muscled fiend that would stand over head and shoulders taller than the bestial and savage werewolf. The dogman pack did not interfere. There was an unspoken command from their alpha. Unlike the alpha in Chapter 1 of Werewolf Hunter, this one was older and had an understanding of honor, despite his vicious ways. Emmanuel tilted his lupine muzzle into the skies and howled his challenge as he cut with clawed hands the symbol of war and death upon his chest. The alpha howled in response, and with a snarling dervish of destruction, the two met, fang to fang and claw to claw. Had Emmanuel made it to alpha rank and had more time to control the beast, he would have killed the alpha in moments. However, this was not to be. He was merely a beta, and only able to change fully on the full moon. Only the mark on his palm kept him from losing control and killing all around him in an orgy of gore. This lack of experience led to his defeat, despite his regeneration and the supernatural attributes in which he had over the alpha. He was slain. One does not truly know if dogmen have supernatural qualities as werewolves, but regeneration was not a blessing bestowed upon the ones the tribe knew of. The alpha, despite tearing Emmanuel's throat out, also was severely hurt. He would not survive his injuries. The pack howled in mourning and gathered their leader's carcass. They would be gone by sunrise. Charles had snuck out of the house and had watched everything. He swore he would never forget his father's sacrifice, nor would he shun the mantle of the wolf, if it would ever be offered unto him. This mantle he would seek out for years before finding a member of the Council of 10. This man had been named Alphonse, an elder from Scotland. He would place the young Sioux brave on a series of trials. These trials Charles passed, and the power of the werewolf was bestowed to him. Charles Legrand Sanchez would take the name of BlackFeather, a symbol of rebirth and hope. He joined the council as he gained age and power. However, in the present day, he is known as Grey Wolf, the ender of the dog-headed ones, also known as the Grey Death, the protector of his people. I hope you enjoyed this minor installment into the Werewolf Hunter series. You all know what I do. I am the producer for Chasing the Truth, Dogman Camps, and the Vault of Nightmares. John Bell of Dogman Camps mainly does cryptids, but he's slowly branching out to other things every now and then. He is dying to give you the chance to tell your encounters. Sean Graham hosts Chasing the Truth, which covers everything paranormal and even cryptids. He would love to have you share one of your stories. Vault hosts the Vault of Nightmares, and his experience with cryptids is renowned. As is his experience with many other things, he will gladly guide you down the Vault of Nightmares to share your encounters. Y'all already know my email address. It is westvic@dogmancams.com. Hit me up. You guys who know me on Facebook, hit me up there. Messenger, Reddit, you guys know the Thaddeus Cray name by now. Hit me up, and I guarantee you, leave in the comments on Facebook, Reddit, whatever. I guarantee you, I will make sure you have the chance to have your story told. You guys be blessed, and you be safe.